Shopping for ingredients as a new formulator can be really overwhelming. There are literally thousands of cosmetic ingredients out there, and it can be really easy to spend a lot of money and then discover that you don't actually have what you need to make much of anything. Hey bees, I'm Marie from Humblebee and Me, and this video is the first in a two-part pair of videos, 10 DIY ingredients for new formulators. In part one, we are covering anhydrous ingredients. So these are the ingredients that you'll need to make lip balm and whipped body butter and solid body butter bars. And then in part two, we will cover 5 more ingredients that you can then use to transform these ingredients into things like lotions and creams and cleansing balms. The partner blog post for this video features a ton of extra information, including a lot of really helpful links, so please make sure you are giving that a read as well. It is linked in the description box below this video. When you're a new formulator shopping for ingredients, one of the most important things, principles of ingredient shopping is to keep it inexpensive. And my general rule of thumb is your ingredient should be inexpensive enough that if you make something that is absolutely wretched, you won't feel too bad about throwing it away. Obviously, waste is not good, but I have memories of forcing myself to use so many truly appalling formulations from my early days because I'd put a bunch of expensive ingredients in them and I just couldn't bear the thought of throwing it out. And so I just kind of tortured myself, just low-key torture, by using just the most repugnant smelling, So yeah, make sure your ingredients are cheap enough that if you have to chuck something, you aren't going to be heartbroken. Shipping expenses definitely factor into the cost of your ingredients, so I really recommend sticking with stuff that you can get domestically. You'll probably have to shop online. I've got a big list of places to shop all over the world over at humblebeeandme.com. It's right in the main menu titled Where to Buy Ingredients, so make sure you check that out. And if you are a new formulator or you are a more experienced formulator and you're looking to up your formulation knowledge, Formula Botanica is offering a all new, totally free formulation masterclass. So I'll throw a sign up link for that into the description box below as well. So that is definitely worth a click and a sign up. I have 2 diplomas from Formula Botanica, a diploma in organic skincare formulation and a diploma in organic hair care formulation. And if you would like to read my reviews of those diplomas, I will link to those in the description box below too. But yeah, it's a really good free way to check out what they do. Okay, I think that is more than enough chat. Please read the partner blog post. It is positively packed with helpful extras. And let's get into ingredient number 1 that you will need in your DIY pantry. The first ingredient that you're going to need in your DIY ingredient pantry is a mid to lightweight liquid carrier oil. When I say mid to lightweight, I'm talking about absorption speed, sort of how greasy or heavy the oil feels on the skin. Let your personal preference for how rich you like your skincare products be guide your choice here. I have provided a few different suggestions for different carrier oils, so things like grapeseed oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, sweet almond oil, apricot kernel oil. There's a list in the partner blog post linked in the description box below, but the general gist of it is that you want to be getting something that doesn't have a really strong scent or color to it, and you want it to be fairly inexpensive. You will use this liquid carrier oil in all kinds of things, everything from lip balm to body butter to lotions to creams. They're really very versatile. So here's a section of different sort of sizes of different carrier oils that you can get. Do not start here. This is way too much to start with. This is 3.5 pounds of carrier oil. This is far too much. This is generally a good range. So this is 500 mils and this is 125 and this is 100. If you're just getting one liquid carrier oil, getting about 500 mils of it is a decent place to start. If you really want to try a few different ones, I would step it down to a slightly smaller size so that you don't have to worry about things expiring before you can finish them. These smaller sizes, this is 30 mils or an ounce, and this is 15 mils or half an ounce. If you want to and have the room in your budget for a more, luxurious oil or two, I'd recommend starting around these sizes. So if you're looking to splurge, I always love argan oil as a really fun, luxurious oil. The next ingredient that you should have in your pantry is a soft butter. So you'll use soft butters in many of the same places and types of formulations. So you'll use a liquid oil, so balms and body butters and lotions. But one really special place that soft butters shine is if you want to be making soft body butters, because they're that soft, buttery thing. They're that key soft buttery ingredient for making soft butters. The soft butter that you'll generally come across the most, that is often easiest to get, is shea butter. So this is from Baraka Shea Butter. It is an unrefined shea butter, and this was a gift. And so it's got a really lovely, rich, soft feel to it. And it is quite a heavy, lovely, like indulgent butter. So if you are not a fan of quite heavy, rich stuff, formulations, you might prefer to look at mango butter. So this mango butter was a gift from Plants Power. So mango butter is similarly soft and squishy. It has a much faster absorption speed and feels a lot lighter on the skin. I will sometimes blend these two butters so I can get the gorgeous richness of shea, but kind of lighten it up with the faster absorbing mango butter. Something else to consider is scent. Unrefined shea butter definitely does have a scent to it, a sort of smoky, nutty scent. Some people love it, some people don't. It does come through in our products, so if you want to use shea butter but you don't love the idea of having that scent in your products, I would choose a refined shea butter. Mango butter never really smells like much of anything, so it's a safe, unscented choice. As for how much of a soft butter you will need, I would start with around 500 grams, or roughly a pound. Butters contain saturated fats, that is why they're solid, quite a lot of saturated fats. So stearic acid would be an example, and they are a lot more stable against oxidization, so they tend to have a longer shelf life. That said, if you're really not a fan of making anhydrous body butters and balms, you could probably buy less. If you don't have access to shea butter or mango butter and you're looking for suggestions on different soft butters that you can formulate with, make sure you're reading the partner blog post. I have suggested a few in there. Ingredient number 3 for your DIY formulating pantry is a brittle butter. So when I say a brittle butter, I'm talking about something that is hard. It's hard like a chocolate bar. You can kind of knock it on your hand or a counter and it's a little bit like, ow, you know, that's got some heft to it. Because they are hard, these butters will bring some thickness and some stiffness to our formulations, and they especially shine in solid body butter or body butter bar formulations. Cocoa butter tends to be the easiest choice for a brittle butter. There are a few other brittle butters that are mentioned in the blog post, but yeah, cocoa butter is the easiest one. This beautiful bag is from Baraka Shea Butter. This was a gift, and oh my gosh, it smells absolutely amazing. Every time, like my mouth is literally just watering right now. It smells so good. If you don't like the smell of chocolate in your body products though, you can buy deodorized cocoa butter and use that just as you would use unrefined cocoa butter. As with the soft butter, I'd start with around 500 grams or about a pound of the brittle butter. Again, they're pretty shelf stable thanks to that high saturated fat content. The next ingredient you'll want in your DIY pantry is a true wax. So waxes thicken our formulations and they also bring some staying power. And so one way to think about it is if you think about a lip oil versus a lip balm, the balm with the wax tends to stick around on your lips a lot longer, whereas just a straight oil tends to really not feel like it's sticking around. I really feel like they kind of just come off really, really quickly. And the wax is that thing, that ingredient, gives it a little bit of waxiness, a bit of heft, helps keep it on your face. Now there are a lot of waxes out there to choose from. This is just 3 of them. Beeswax is my top choice for a wax to formulate with. It's got a really lovely, rich, creamy consistency that I especially love in lip balms, and generally speaking, it's pretty easy to find all over the world. Now for vegan waxes, something like carnauba or candelilla wax is quite a common choice, but they do have a different texture and skin feel than beeswax does. Whereas beeswax is quite rich and creamy, candelilla wax and carnauba wax create products that are sort of thinner and glossier and have more of an oily feel than a creamy feel. This is bayberry wax. I find bayberry wax is actually a very close consistency match for beeswax in the vegan wax world. And the unrefined stuff smells a bit like a forest, which I really, really like. I've done a lot of experiments with different types of waxes, so you can learn more about what they bring to our formulation. So please make sure you are checking those out. I've linked to all of those in the partner blog post, which is always linked in the description box below my videos. When it comes to how much wax you'll need, a little goes a long way. 100 grams of most waxes will last you a very, very long time. And ingredient number 5, the last ingredient in this 2-part 10 ingredients for beginners kind of collection, is a fatty thickener. So fatty thickeners thicken our formulations, but without waxiness. So say you are making a body butter and you don't want it to have any waxiness to it, but you'd like it to be a bit thicker, a fatty thickener will do that for you. Or if you're making a lotion and you'd like to add a bit more viscosity to it, a fatty thickener is a great way to do that. And I found that in lotions, waxes can be a bit tacky. It's not always, but it's just not always what you want. Or if sometimes you just want a little bit of extra body and gorgeousness, a fatty thickener is a really great way to make that happen. And I find this category of ingredient is often overlooked or skipped by beginner formulators. I know I didn't start working with it until a few years into my formulating obsession, and that was a serious missed opportunity. So I really want to encourage you to get into your fatty thickeners like right away. So the 3 fatty thickeners that home crafters can kind of most easily access are cetyl alcohol, stearic acid, and cetyl alcohol. Now, out of these 3, cetyl alcohol is the place that I would recommend starting because it's kind of an average of these 2. So it can kind of be used relatively interchangeably in formulations that call for stearic acid or cetyl alcohol, whereas if you bought cetyl alcohol and then you found a formulation that called for stearic acid, that wouldn't be quite as good of a swap. If you'd like to learn more about how these different ingredients impact our formulations, I've done some experiments on them. Those are linked in the partner blog post, so make sure you're checking those out. I describe how they thicken and how they impact, and I show photos and talk about concentrations, and yeah, they're very useful. I'd recommend starting with 100 to 200 grams. These ingredients have very long shelf lives and they're incredibly versatile. So these are the first 5 ingredients that I recommend you buy as a new formulator. Obviously more of a one of each than an everything sort of situation, though I can certainly understand the temptation to buy everything. This set of ingredients will allow you to make a broad selection of anhydrous products, so lip balms, body butters, body balms, solid body butter bars. There's a lot of fun to be had. And then stay tuned for part 2, where I will introduce 5 more ingredients. And with those 5 more ingredients, we'll be able to take these ingredients and make all kinds of other awesome things like lotions and creams and cleansing balms. It's gonna be great. As always, please make sure you're reading the full partner blog post for this video. There's a lot more information in the blog post. This was a very sort of information heavy, alternative heavy, kind of discussion heavy topic, and I wanted to make sure to cover lots. And so there's just a lot more in the partner blog post, including just tons of helpful links to sample formulations. It's very much worth the click. And so as always, that's linked in the description box below this video. There's also a couple honorable mentions in the partner blog post. So that is where you will find discussion on essential oils and fragrance oils, and also on clays. That's it for part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Happy making, and I'll see you later.